Newton's first law, or the law of inertia, states that an object in motion will stay in motion and an object at rest will stay at rest unless an unbalanced force acts on it. In this case, the soccer ball has the tendency to remain at rest due to its inertia. Because of this, when acted by an unbalanced force, aka my foot, it changes its resting state to its motion state. In this example, we can see how Gabriel has a tendency to stay at rest, but when an unbalanced force is applied to the middle of the body, we can see how his head and his legs for a second stay in the same position, because they still want to remain at rest. This is because of its inertia. If Gabriel had a larger mass, it would be harder to get him out of his rest state, because he would have a greater inertia. Newton's second law of motion consists of an equation: force equals mass times acceleration. In this case, we use the same mass but change the catapult's force, making it stronger on the second trial. We can see how with less force applied to an object, its acceleration will be slower as well. Showing that they are directly correlated. On the second trial, the object went further and faster because it had a greater force applied. But what happens when we change the mass instead of the force? In this first video, we see how the box has less mass and goes further with a greater speed. But when we change the mass of the same box, putting stuff on top of it and applying the same force, we see how the box doesn't advance as much as it did when it had less mass, showing the indirect relationship mass and acceleration have. Newton's third law states that for every action there is an equal but opposite reaction. In this case, we see how Gabriel and myself run to each other and jump, hitting ourselves, bouncing back towards where we came from with the same force applied when we're going straight. Newton's third law demonstrates that for every action there is an equal but opposite reaction. In this occasion, the foot pushes on the floor with the same force that the floor pushes on the foot. The thing is that the direction of the force is opposite from each object.